G'day, Kenny Mayne here again with lesson number 10. We're going to talk about, well, we've been talking about constructions of songs and how they work, and we know we've got a two-chorded song which uses the first and the fifth of the scale, three-chorded song which is using the first, fourth and fifth of the scale, and a turnaround which uses the first, fourth, fifth, and we put the sixth in there somewhere as well. So that's sort of constructions of most songs, but especially rock and roll songs. But now they've got one of the most important one is a 12-bar blues. And what it is, it's 12 bars and it's played over and over again. Songs like Jailhouse Rock, Bebop Balula, rock and roll music. Chuck Berry is renowned for using 12-bar blues in all these songs just about, except for some of the ballads. So it's very important to know what a 12-bar is all about, and we're going to tell you now. So I'll get Johnny to swap over to the sheet here, and I'll pick up, I've got a new pointer as you can see. Okay, it's a 12-bar in G, mainly because it starts in G and, well, it actually got a D7 there, but it actually finishes in G too. But anyway, the first 4 bars are in G, the second 4 bars is 2 bars of C, 2 bars of G, and the last 4 bars is D, C, G, and back to a D7, which brings us back to the G. As you can see, we've got the double lines and double dots. Once again, that brings us back to this point, and we keep repeating. This on the staff, you might notice we've got 6 lines on the staff. That's because it's a tablature staff, so it's not a music staff, it's a tablature staff, which we'll get into a bit later. But anyway, with the 12 bar, as you can see here, I'm counting it, and I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. The next lot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if we look out, I've highlighted these first beat of the bar a bit bigger, so if I was only to count the first beat of the bar, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, and 1. And that gives us an idea of how the bars work. So when we count it, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, then we go to the next chord and so on. Okay, so we're going to play it, I'll play it along with you. We're going to use open chords on this 12 bar. So it's starting in G, it's in the key of G, so here we go. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so that's how we do it. Sorry, I put a 2 in there, I shouldn't have, but don't worry about it, you'll work it out. Okay, so with it in mind, that's how you count it, and when you count it like that, it tells you where you are, and if there's someone's playing a lead solo, there's no vocals, you've got nothing to go by, and you've only got the bass player and the drummer to keep you in time, but you must know where the chord changes come so the lead guitarist knows where he's got to stop and come in, you know what I mean? So it's very important if you want the lead guitarist to be in sync with what you're doing. Alright, so that's a 12-bar blues. Once again, it's half a rock and roll of the early, late 50s, early 60s. Half of that stuff is done by that. Alright, so we're going to move on. We're going to go into now, what we call bar chords. So I'm going to get Johnny I'm going to swap this page over here. Okay, and we're back on board. Now we've got what we call bar chords. Now, Bar chords are, well, I'll show you a bar chord. What they are, they put the first finger across like so, and then you put your chord behind it in turn. So if I take an E chord from here and I move it up one, what comes after E is F, so that becomes an F chord. Then if I move up two more, that becomes a G chord. So E, F, G. Now if I take an A chord from here, I can go A, B, C. And if I take a B7th chord here, I go B, C, D, and that gives me a D chord. Now the beauty of a bar chord is you can do key changes without a mathematical genius in the brain. What it means is, because we got G, C and D7, they're all in the key of G. So if I play 1 there, that's in the key of G. If I move up 2 frets, I'm now in the key of A. And I'm still playing the same chords, but just different names. So when they do a key change on a guitar, the beauty of it is you don't have to worry about the shapes, because the shapes don't change, only the fret changes. So once again, if someone said to me they want to play a song in A flat, so I find A and I go back one, that gives me A flat. So now I have A flat, D flat and E flat 7. And if I went up one, I've got A, D and E7. I go back one, A flat, D flat and E flat 7, and so on. So that's how we work out on bar chords. And the beauty of bar chords is they're not really hard to do. Most people learn the hard way because people don't show them how to do them properly. They just say, oh, no pain, no gain, but it's not necessarily the case. What we want you to do is, once again, we've taken an E chord, we've taken an A chord, and we've taken a B7th chord, and we put them up on the 3rd fret. Now with the C7 chord, the B7 chord there, that's a C7 from here up to here. Now with the C7th, we knock out that note and we knock out that note. So we get a C. Now that's a D7 chord, because C, D. But I'm knocking out the 6th string there and the 1st string so they don't sound. So I can chop. As you can see, it chops. It stops the sound when I want it to stop. Now on the G chord, which is from the E chord with my 1st finger in front, I move it up to the 3rd fret. Now with that in mind, this 1st finger presses down on the 6th string, and it actually presses down on the 1st and 2nd. But the other strings, these 3 fingers press down, so it's sort of arched. It's like that. It's like an arch. Okay? So I put it there, press down there, put that down, and that's a G chord. The C chord, I swing my hand around, I put this finger at an angle, it plays those 3 notes, the 1st string is dead, and this finger here plays these 2 notes. So I'm only playing a 5-string chord, even though it looks like a 6. So then we get G, C and D7. The G, C and D7 we know are the 3 chords in the key of G, because it's the 1st, 4th and 5th of the scale. Now to play these chords, the way to do it is not worry about the sound, but get the shape right. So you put your 1st finger across like so, you put your 3 fingers and you just let them rest on the strings. You're not pressing down. You put your thumb at the back square, like that. When I do the C chord, I put my thumb out like so, and when I do the D7th chord, I wrap my hand around like that. Okay, so now we go to the C chord, and we put our 1st finger there like so, and we just, once again, just strum it like so. You don't have to make it sound. You go to the D7th chord, just strum it, then you just don't worry about making a sound, but after a while the hands will just fall naturally into place. Now what you can do is, you can play the G chord, and on the 1st beat of each bar you're going to squeeze just press the string down for 1 beat. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you go to the C chord. Back to the D7. And back to G. Okay, when you get the hang of that, then, but the trick is, once again, if you want to learn chords quickly, change them, just strum them and change them. Now, I want you to just go 1. So, G, C, D7, G, C, D7, G, C, D7, G, C, D7, G, C, D7. Now, doesn't matter what they sound like, as long as you get the chords in the right shape. Okay, so that's how you do that, okay? So now I've drawn the chords up here. I'm going to get Johnny to go over to the sheet so I can explain a bit better. We've got the G, the C and the D7th, and the bar chords in the key of G. Now as you can see, this bent line here indicates your first finger, and once again it indicates your first finger. The cross indicates that that string doesn't sound, and here we have 2 crosses to tell us the outstripe strings don't sound. Now as you can see, this looks like that's an E chord shape, that's an A chord shape, and that's a B7 if I put the note down here rather than over there. So they're the 3 chords in the key of G in bar chords. You learn them so how you can play them, and when you can play them, you strum them, and then you can listen to 12 bar blues and see what happens in the 12 bar blues. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to go into another song, but I'm not going to have time in this lesson, but we're going to do Old MacDonald in a different way, which will come back in the next lesson. And Old MacDonald it's a traditional song, but we're going to learn it by singing the chords in the song, and then we'll learn the song. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, well, we'll go back to the next lesson. So what happens now, I'm going to call at the end of this one, so hooroo for now, and I'll catch you in the next lesson with Old MacDonald.